Thank you very much, Presiding Officer, and thank you to Claire Haughey for providing the opportunity to have this important debate. Claire mentioned our colleague Dennis Robertson, and to remind me, and I guess others who were here, of Dennis's first contribution about his daughter made the hairs in the back of my neck come up, because I can remember the personal emotional charge I felt when he spoke about those personal circumstances. But Dennis turned what could have been a life-constraining tragedy into the driver for a very, very worthwhile campaign, which we would all support. And of course, he continues public service in Aberdeenshire Council, where I regularly see him and continue to have good discussions. Now, we've all referred to the increase in the number of people presenting with eating disorders. I'm delighted to hear that in Claire Haughey's constituency, the 18-week target for being seen is substantially being bettered. But I think perhaps more interestingly and more troubling that on average, I'm told, is 149 weeks before people experiencing eating disorder symptoms seek help. And perhaps we should look in the mirror about some of the ways in which we and wider society respond to people with eating disorders, and perhaps, without meaning to, discourage people from seeking the kind of help that they really need. It's said that 34% of adults in the UK cannot identify signs of an eating disorder, while 79% don't know there are psychological symptoms associated with eating disorders. And part of these anomalies, of course, lie in the fact that we still view sufferers of eating disorders as only having one body type: skinny, sickly, perhaps selfish. And that is utterly, utterly wrong. Many people believe that people of normal weight or who are overweight cannot be suffering from an eating disorder. Unless they look very unhealthy and weak, people will assume that you're fine. A common misconception is that sufferers are simply attention seekers. Claire mentioned anorexia and bulimia and gave us a list of other conditions that apply. And there are a huge number of these that we need to take attention to. I want to talk a little bit about social factors. I'm personally disturbed, and I don't know if others will be. The Weight Watchers has just started offering free 6-week memberships to children as young as 13. Now, I'm sure they have their reasons for doing so, and I'm sure that part of what they will say is that they're fighting childhood obesity and other health complications. But I think offering this kind of illusory opportunity to people who are potentially vulnerable emotionally and whose body shape is likely to be rapidly changing is not likely to be something that I feel comfortable to support. Simple consent of parents is all that's required, and teens are granted this imperfect opportunity to get that supermodel physique. Now, it's been some years since I paraded on beach or side of a pool my physique, and there's good reasons why that's so, because I am somewhat short of that ideal shape. I can see members around the chamber are nodding in agreement without much knowledge. But in a society that glamorizes this illusion of perfection, it's something that we should all seek to address. We need to educate people about symptoms, about treatments, and about that there is no condemnation in accepting that we have eating disorders. We are endomorphs, we're ectomorphs. That's from our genetic dispositions. Let me once again congratulate Dennis for having first brought this in the way that he did to this Parliament, and to Claire for allowing this opportunity for us to further discuss a very important subject. Presiding Officer.